What does this real life lore videos be like?
Djibouti is perhaps the most fascinating country in the modern world. It's really small, and if you put it over the United States, it's actually still really small. But why does the majority of the population of this fascinating country live in the capital city, also named Djibouti? In fact, over half of all Djiboutians live in this single area. Well, the answer to my clickbait title and thumbnail that I will change later is that the country is actually an inhospitable salt desert, and there's a f***ing volcano in the middle of it, which is shitty if you're trying to live. Now that the reason you clicked on this video has been answered, I'm going to steal the next 30 minutes of your life and give you a sometimes well-researched, if not a bit simplistic overview of this nation's geopolitical landscape, its history, and to be honest, whatever else I feel like talking about so I can extend the length of this video. And don't worry, even though this video is about Djibouti, I'll somehow figure out a way to talk about the Russian invasion of Ukraine, North Korea for
What the fuck?
some reason, and of course, everyone's favorite Taiwan. Because, my dear viewer, in the Church of Real Life Lore, this is our holy trinity
North Korea, Ukraine, Taiwan.
that we pray to when in need of content. But let's be honest here, we both know that as long as I keep this high quality stock footage rolling, this voice serious and monotone, you'll believe anything I say as I slowly hypnotize you with my high production quality.
This is a fucking awesome video. What the fuck? And then in between, he's gonna be like Nebula. If you want more of the videos, you can go to Nebula.
Before you know it, 30 minutes of your conscious experience will be mine forever, and you'll be injecting my exclusive Nebula and Curiosity Stream videos directly into your bloodstream like the loyal viewer you are. Djibouti lies at the center of one of the most geographically important areas on the planet, only beaten by the world's most important location, Bouvet Island, noted for its lack of League of Legends and Hearts of Iron 4 players. Djibouti's unique geographic positioning in the Horn of Africa makes it a soft power-wielding heavyweight in the region. It is vital to controlling the international flow of Nebula and Curiosity Stream subscriptions. States all over the world, especially in Europe, are forced by geography to have an interest in this small strait which acts as a choke point for commerce. Even in Djibouti's local neighborhood, its positioning is essential for its much larger, landlocked neighbor Ethiopia, who relies on Djibouti for access to the sea so it can import Curiosity Stream subscriptions. It's no wonder then why so many nations have military bases in this small but critical part of the world. But if we're truly going to understand this topic with more depth, then we have to travel back in time to the initial western migration of Turkic tribes from Central Asia into what we would call the Middle East and beyond. These many different Turkic tribes would go on to create empires and states of their own, but the one relevant to our story traveled all the way across Central Asia and established a medieval rump state of their own, which, although was a small part of the larger Turkish world, would go on to become the Ottoman Empire, a massive entity spanning 3 continents based in Constantinople. But what lied ahead of Constantinople was the European portion of the Ottoman Empire, and much of the population here were Christians who didn't like being under the rule of the Muslim Turks. This would become a major source of unrest in the region. Meanwhile, the neighboring Russian Empire—
I've never watched more of a video that is like specifically in my wheelhouse as like a meme. Incredibly fucking, this is the most try-hard meme of all time that spans 10 minutes.
would gradually see itself
Like
as
I feel like this person made this literally for this community.
Christian subjects in the Ottoman world, especially as it viewed itself as the guardian of the Orthodox Church and the inheritor of the Roman legacy after the fall of Constantinople. But the conflict between these two political entities was not just a religious one, as despite what ideological or religious or moral high ground countries claim to have, the truth is that states operate in what's good for their self-interest. This is what's called realpolitik, and if you've ever played a Paradox multiplayer game, you know what it feels like.
Saxony is Austrian clay.
We should be allowed to have relations with the nation. Please
No,
stop.
you shouldn't. You're trying to rule out Saxony. They're just like a minor power.
No,
They're a minor. You're a fucking great power.
You're a great power. You're like keeping him in your basement, dog.
I made him.
Yeah, probably because you got his clay all over him.
Miners?
That is all to say, it was very simply in the interest of the Russian Empire to have control over the Black Sea and expand its power into the Balkans. The propaganda and narratives simply follow along to fit their goals. If we fast forward to today, Turkey is still putting its own interests above all else, even in its own allies in NATO, as it continues to create tension with Greece over the Aegean Sea and Cyprus, meanwhile holding up Sweden from even joining NATO in the first place. And if you take a look at all these big scary arrows on the map, we can see that this is in spite of Russia's current occupation and invasion parts of Ukraine, which has sparked a revival and expansion of NATO. But even international outrage caused by the Russian war in Ukraine is not enough to make Turkey put aside its own interests, and that's why NATO's biggest internal problem is Turkey. Now, if you're wondering why I just gave a brief overview of a part of Turkish history and managed to name drop Ukraine and NATO and Sweden and Russia, it's not because I forgot what the original topic was supposed to be. It's actually because in the year 1542, the Ottoman Empire militarily aided the Adal Sultanate, which held territory where today the modern state of Djibouti is. And together, they fought the Portuguese and Ethiopians in battle, which had a significant impact on the history of Djibouti. And in order to tell you that, I had to give you the entire background of the Turkish people, the Ottoman Empire, a bit of NATO, Ukraine, and Russia as historical context. But to truly understand Djibouti's position on the world stage, we have to fast forward again to the modern day, where we can see that 90% of Djibouti's exports are YouTube videos about geopolitics, and they're going mostly to China. And if you want to know why, it's because Chairman Xi Jinping's Nebula subscription has expired, causing massive economic collapse in the country, as without the constant stream of clickbait geopolitical content, suicide rates are rapidly increasing, causing the population to fall. It's estimated that by 2050, China's population could drop to 5 people in total, unless someone can afford to renew Chairman Xi's subscription, and this is why China is shrinking fast. But there is one plan to save the Chinese Communist Party, and that is because it's been recently discovered that Johnny Harris is currently making geopolitical YouTube videos in Taiwan. This gives the island of Taiwan extreme value on the international stage, because it's estimated that if mainland China could reunify with the island, not only would its population maintain a healthy growth, but it would break the island chain led by the United States designed to keep the CCP isolated from the wider geopolitical YouTube market. Will China invade Taiwan next? The answer is most likely, because if you look at the map, you'll see multiple arrows pointing towards Taiwan, and everyone knows the more arrows I put on the map, the more likely an invasion happens. And to be honest, I could just keep doing this. I mean, I could add so many arrows that are so beautifully animated, it won't even matter what the Chinese Communist Party wants, they'll simply be forced to invade. But if you really want to know why the Chinese People's Republic is so good at war,
he's gonna talk about
they have experience at it.
He's gonna have to talk about North Korea. I'm not talking about
their military expansion into Xinjiang or Tibet, because those have always been historically part of China. I'm talking about the Chinese intervention in the Korean War.
Yes!
The North Koreans.
Yes! Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, this video is awesome.
Unification of the South. North Korea, while failing to unify the peninsula because of a United Nations intervention, also gained valuable combat experience and would go on to create the most militarized state in the world. And to be honest with you, I don't know how North Korea is preparing to attack Ukraine, but once again, my pupils, if we pay—
What the fuck? Is that a real video? No, he made that up. There ain't no way RealLifeLore made a video like that. Wait, what? Shut the fuck up. Dude, no shot. Hold on. Why North Korea? Oh my god, it's real. Brody really made a fucking video. Why North Korea's preparing to attack Ukraine next? Yo, that's awesome. Okay, that's fucking sick. That's sick. He's cooking. What is RealLifeLore cooking up in the shop, dude? I mean, to be fair, dude, how North Korea made it impossible to escape 11 million views. I'd be doing that shit too if it gave me 11 million views, you know what I mean? Yo, I really got to stop with this fucking anti-imperialist nonsense, dude. I'm dropping. After I saw the fucking Versailles wedding, I dropped the socialism shit. This socialism shit is over. And also the anti-imperialism shit is over, dude. It's so Jover. It's never been more Jover. Going forward, I am going to always suspiciously end up aligning myself with whatever the fuck American foreign policy hacks are saying, okay? Whatever the fuck the State Department is saying, I'm aligning with. I'm just going to do it in an edgy way. Oh, so an anarchist? No, yeah, exactly.
Pay close attention, we'll see a high number of arrows in the thumbnail, which can mean only one thing: a glorious liberation on the shores of the Black Sea to expand North Korea into Ukraine, which will promptly be renamed to West Korea.
This is so stupid. This is, oh, dude.
Let's look
this
at that
is
one
awesome.
more time, but a little bit slower. That's right. You thought I forgot about the point of the video again, but I didn't. Because, as you can clearly see, the invasion path of North Korea into West Korea clearly passes through Djibouti's territorial waters. This goes to show just how vital Djibouti's geographic positioning truly is. Even for a country as far away as North Korea, they are totally reliant on the Djiboutian government, who controls this strait, in order to facilitate their liberation of West Korea. But there's something that I've yet to mention, something that is the glorious Central African Empire, which is set to invade Djibouti at the time of this video's upload. This will have major geopolitical consequences around the world, and you can learn more about it in my Modern Conflict series, where I'm yapping for 50 minutes straight instead of yapping for 30 minutes straight.
Djibouti, a former French colony with a population of just 1 million, gained independence in 1977 and is surrounded by larger, more volatile neighbors. To the north lies Eritrea, which has been isolated internationally for nearly 2 decades. To the south is Somalia, enduring years of civil war. And to the west is Ethiopia, recovering from a devastating civil war that, according to US and European Union estimates, claimed over 500,000 lives in just 2 years. Strategically located where the Red Sea meets the Gulf of Aden, Djibouti, a predominantly Islamic nation, has become a focal point for major global powers. It hosts military bases from China, France, Italy, Japan, and the United States, with Germany also expressing interest in establishing a naval base, according to regional diplomats. Recently, Tokyo has provided new Coast Guard patrol vessels to Djibouti. Additionally, Djibouti has earned a reputation as an intelligence hub, according to Western diplomats. It's been likened to a Cold War era Berlin in the Horn of Africa, serving as a key intersection between the West and the Arab world. The upscale Djibouti Palace Hotel is a favored gathering spot for the close knit intelligence community. While Djibouti's economy relies heavily on its ports and strategic location, its survival, according to officials and ministers, depends on maintaining neutrality, something that is currently being put to the test. Prime Minister Kamil Mohammed notes that after the Houthi missile attacks started in October, the US requested permission to conduct operations against a group from its naval base in Djibouti. The government declined that request. It's been very clear since the beginning we do not want to be brought into a war, Mohammed tells Bloomberg News. The US is there and we have told them be careful, do not bring the war here. He adds that Djibouti remains on good terms with the US. The country is also renegotiating a defense cooperation treaty with France, which includes a commitment from the former colonial power to provide military assistance if it requires it.